Join me as I dive into the tricky world of cost-push inflation and see if I can break it down to explain why prices keep going up in 2024. You might have noticed that prices seem to be going up left and right lately. From groceries to gas, it feels like no matter where you look, things are getting more expensive. But what's driving this trend? The answer lies in something called cost-push inflation. And today we're going to explore just what that means and how it's affecting our daily lives. Cost-push inflation is a type of inflation that occurs when there's an increase in the cost of production, whether it's due to rising raw material prices, labor shortages, or supply chain issues. When it becomes more expensive to make something, the cost gets passed on to the consumer. It's a pretty straightforward concept, but the implications can be far-reaching. In recent years, we've seen costs rising across the board, from agricultural products to manufactured goods. It's not just a matter of your favorite snack food costing a little more. We're talking about systemic changes that have a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. Rising production costs are affecting prices across various sectors, and the impact on consumers is real. When companies face higher costs, they either need to increase prices or absorb the loss themselves. And let's be real, most of the time they're going to choose the former. That means you and I end up paying more for the things we need and want. From housing to healthcare, the effects of cost-push inflation are being felt everywhere. It's not just a matter of prices going up a little bit. We're talking about significant increases that can really add up over time. And it's not just consumers who are feeling the pinch. Businesses are struggling to adapt to these new cost realities as well. As production costs continue to rise, companies are being forced to make tough decisions about how to stay afloat. Do they raise prices and risk alienating customers, or do they absorb the losses and risk going out of business? It's a tough spot to be in, and one that's having a major impact on the overall economy. One of the biggest drivers of cost-push inflation is supply chain issues. When there are disruptions to the flow of goods and services, it can cause prices to spike. We've seen this happen time and time again in recent years, from COVID-related lockdowns to natural disasters. And it's not just a matter of things getting back to normal once the crisis passes. The effects of these supply chain issues can linger for months or even years. Labor shortages are another major factor driving cost-push inflation. When there aren't enough workers to go around, companies are forced to pay higher wages to attract and retain the ones they do have. And of course, those increased labor costs get passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. Rising raw material prices are also playing a big role in cost-push inflation. Whether it's due to natural disasters, conflicts, or simply high demand, when the cost of raw materials goes up, it has a ripple effect throughout the entire production process. We're seeing the effects of cost-push inflation play out in real time all around us. From the price of groceries to the cost of housing, it's hard to escape the impact of these rising production costs. And it's not just consumers who are feeling the pinch. Businesses are struggling to adapt to these new cost realities as well. Let's take the example of the housing market. We've seen construction costs skyrocket in recent years due to a combination of factors like labor shortages, supply chain issues, and rising material prices. And as a result, the cost of housing has gone up dramatically. It's not just a matter of housing prices being a little bit higher. We're talking about significant increases that are making it difficult for people to afford a place to live. In another example, let's look at the automotive industry. Car manufacturers are facing rising costs due to supply chain issues and higher raw material prices, and as a result, the cost of cars is going up. It's not just a matter of a few $100s. We're talking about price increases of thousands of dollars. The effects of cost-push inflation are far-reaching and can have a major impact on our daily lives. Whether it's making it harder to afford the things we need or forcing businesses to make tough decisions, it's an issue that affects us all. So, what does it all mean? Cost-push inflation is a complex issue with no easy answers. But by understanding the factors that drive it, we can start to make sense of why prices keep going up. And who knows, maybe by the end of this video you'll have a better idea of what's going on and how it affects you. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you noticed prices going up in your area? How are you dealing with the effects of cost-push inflation? Let me know, and be sure to check out my other videos for more insights into the world of economics.